Hello and welcome to part one of a four-part series on the future landscape of College Board search. My name is Jim Rogers, and I am Senior Vice President of Enrollment Strategy here at Carnegie. To get started, let me share a little bit about my background. I have over 25 years of enrollment management experience, with most of that time spent as Chief Admissions Officer on college campuses. I joined Carnegie back in 2018 and work with many clients on enrollment strategy with a specialization in student search. I develop and implement strategies to fill the top of the admissions funnel with qualified prospects who hopefully will apply and enroll at your institution. My Carnegie archetype is the determined and fun performer. Think of me as someone who works hard, never gives up, but brings some levity and fun to the work. The goal of today's presentation is to understand and prepare for changes to College Board search, and especially for this upcoming cycle in 2024. The College Board is making some big changes this fall, and I'm here to keep you updated as things progress. So for today's agenda, we're going to discuss the current College Board subscription plans, evolving privacy legislation, the future subscriptions, and what you need to be prepared for, and some next steps to keep in mind. All right, so let's just jump right in. The 2020 to 2023 recruitment cycle was the first year that the College Board introduced a subscription platform. Prior to this, colleges and universities would simply purchase names on a per-name basis. With the addition of the subscription plans, some colleges and universities continue to purchase on a per-name basis, but next year, this will no longer be an option. All colleges and universities will be required to subscribe to at least one plan to access the College Board search database. Currently, each subscription level includes a set number of names and a certain number of recruitment services. For those of you that have already had a subscription, this should be pretty familiar, but for those of you that have not, I want to go over what's included. All College Board subscription plans include Interest in My College, or IMC, which are hand raisers in College Board's database. They are names you should always pick up as they have indicated a specific interest in your institution. It also includes the ability to target by zip code and upload these lists when purchasing names. Access to the National Recognition Program's students are also included in the subscription. You can search for underrepresented students from high academic achieving backgrounds. The other recruitment services you see here on the slide are included depending on what level of subscription that you have. Enrollment Planning Service, or EPS, is a useful tool for planning recruitment travel, accessing College Board research. Interest in My Peers will allow you the opportunity to search students that have also raised their hand for your competitors. Segment analysis allows you to understand the types of high schools and neighborhoods where you receive the most applications and yield the most students. Parent and guardian contacts will allow you to acquire email addresses to market to students or guardians of these students. Landscape context will allow you to understand students' accomplishments in the context of the opportunities available to them. Living Record allows you to receive updated information for the students you purchased, like the email, mailing address, maybe they changed their major, and so on. Student Plans and Preferences allow you to search at a much more granular level. For example, if you're a single-sex institution or you're looking for students that are going to stay in-state or go out of state, there's a variety of different preferences you can select. And finally, Search Optimization Service. That's a consultation with College Board staff who assure you're searching in the best possible way. So you may be also wondering, how do College Board search names end up in their database? And how do students actually opt in and release their names to College Board? We're going to talk about that just for a minute. So students can opt in to College Board using the in-school, or when they're taking the in-school or weekend administrations of the College Board exams. College Board also has a college search platform called Big Future, where students are researching colleges and they can access it there. At time of creating a College Board account, they'll be asked to opt in. And also when checking their test scores, they're again asked if they want to opt into College Board search, as well as many online virtual events and different things that College Board does as part of Big Future. So as you can see, there's many different ways that students can opt into search, not just from the exam, but in all of these other avenues. So now I want to take some time to talk about privacy legislation. It's evolving across the country, and there's lots you need to know to get prepared. So let's dive right in. Student privacy is a concern, as you can imagine, for students, parents, and lawmakers. So we're going to talk about how to be prepared for the next search cycle. So privacy legislation is a hot topic right now. Most states have some version of the Student Online Personal Information Protection Act, or SOPIPA, and are likely, or if they don't, they're likely to have one in the near future. So for this reason, College Board is making changes to prepare for this. The biggest change impacts data collected in schools that administer College Board exams. So currently, students have been able to check an opt-in box on an exam, but this option will no longer exist in the fall. AP test takers and SATs administered on the weekend will still allow students to opt in, but any in-school administrations will no longer have this option. The other option methods I mentioned a few moments ago will still exist, such as account creation, checking test scores. And this brings me to one of the biggest changes, which is the introduction of College Board connections. So let's talk a little bit about the future of College Board subscriptions and College Board connections. So you're probably wondering, what is College Board Connections? So let me tell you what that's all about. So College Board Connections is a brand new app that will be launched this fall. On the student side, they're going to know it as Big Future Schools. And the primary draw for students to download the app is this is going to be where they're going to go to check their test scores. They will also be able to learn about colleges and universities while not providing their personal identifiable information, or PII. As you can see, they will access the app, check their test scores, but at the same time, you will be able to send messaging from your institution for students to complete an inquiry form and raise their hand. As you can imagine, this is a little bit of a paradigm shift for search because these will be inquiries coming into your database. Now, I'm sure the next question you have is, how will students see my institution's message? This depends on what audience the student is part of. So an audience will consist of a class year, a geographic region, and a test score band. The new subscription plans will include a specified number of audiences that you may target. You'll set up the audience using the same College Board platform, but will also be able to send messaging and track analytics. You'll still use traditional search and College Board connections, but these will be deduped against each other so that you won't end up purchasing the same names that you may have already received as an inquiry. We will discuss the connections features and implementation in greater detail during my upcoming webinars this summer. Some things to begin thinking about are what opportunities await you and what type of support you may need to fully utilize and maximize the usage of connections. You will generate qualified leads directly from College Board, and you'll also have wider reach and the ability to build brand awareness in, say, your secondary or maybe your tertiary markets. This is going to allow you to discover hidden opportunities and regions where students may see your messaging and inquire. You can then create targeted traditional search buys in these regions to expand your market share. College Board Analytics should also help with this, and we will dive deeper into that in future webinars. The questions you should be considering right now, though, are, do you have the internal skill sets and bandwidth to create the content that's going to be needed for connections? How are you going to design your strategy for traditional search versus connections? And how will you configure your CRM to import, track, and monitor those leads that come in? And also, how do you track your return on investment of connections versus traditional search? You also want to think about your search volumes in certain markets. For example, you may still cast a wide net in your primary and maybe your secondary markets, but may wish to monitor your connections leads in tertiary or expansion markets a bit, and then make those purchases later. A more strategic and targeted approach may come to light. So let's look at the new subscription plans in a little bit more detail. And how are those plans changing? Landscape Context will now be included for all plans, in addition to College Board Connections. All other College Board services remain in the same level of plan. The smallest plan now starts at 5,000 names, and prices have increased somewhere between 3% and 8%, depending on what subscription plan level you have. You can also still purchase College Board services a la carte, and also will be able to add additional connections audiences if needed. The ability to generate qualified inquiries from connections should give you more opportunity this year than simply participating in traditional search. Here's a slide with the detail of the new plans. As you can see, the structure is relatively similar to last year with some of the few changes I mentioned, like connections and landscape context being included. But you'll also notice that there's the audiences that are now attached to each one of the plans. So not only the number of names you can buy through traditional search, but you also have the number of audiences that range here from 3 up to 290. And again, like I mentioned, if you have a subscription plan and you need to add an audience, you can add that as an a la carte option to your plan. Okay, I know that was quite a bit to digest in a short amount of time, so let me discuss some of the next steps for you to consider. Be sure to be on the lookout for parts 2 through 4 of this series. We'll be sure to communicate when those are ready. You will also want to have a conversation with your search vendor who consults on your search purchases. You'll want to evaluate your historical conversions and discuss your strategy going forward. The strategy should include thinking about what audiences you want to target, what type of creative content might need to be produced for connections, and preparing your CRM team to implement these new lead sources. You may need to set up origin sources, create some forms and landing pages, and make sure everything's being imported properly. And the summer timeline is listed here as well. As you can see, you will be able to sign up for the new subscription plan in June or July. Keep in mind your current plan will end August 31st, and the new plan will begin on September 1st. I know many of Carnegie's clients are probably watching this webinar series, but if you do not have a search vendor or find that you need support, please don't hesitate to contact us to discuss a partnership. As I come to the end of this webinar, I just wanted to remind you that Carnegie is here to support our clients and our future clients as the landscape of student search evolves. If your institution has Slate as its CRM, we have a huge team of experts who can help you with the configuration for search. We also have an excellent creative team that can help with content. I also want to leave you with a few helpful links here that you can access from the slide deck that's provided, and it will give you some more information about College Search and also how to partner with us if need be. My contact information is here. If you have any questions or would like to contact me or anyone at Carnegie, I can put you in touch with our team. Thank you so much, and I look forward to our next webinar in June. Thank you.